So, guys, Femi, if you guys haven't been on a rock lately, Femi beats Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania this year. Brock left his boots in the ring. WWE moved this man into the alumni page of their website, the WWE website. You go to the Superstar section. He was in the alumni page. And before the month was over, everyone was wondering, was he going to come back or not? He expected. Brock Lesnar just left his boots and gloves in that ring at WrestleMania 42 after losing to Femi. The crowd gave him a thank you, Brock. Paul Heyman was in tears. Does this mean Brock retired from WWE or just from WrestleMania 42? Now look, most of us thought Brock would at least get one more at SummerSlam. That's what I thought, right? This guy looks like he knows what he's talking about. I honestly thought he was continuing in Minneapolis at his home turf to end his career. But anyway, let's hear what this guy got to say. In Minneapolis, his home state, even maybe against Gunther, a proper farewell. Femi earned this. 26 years old, retiring the beast and the grandest stage. Was this the right send-off for Brock Lesnar? Drop it in the comments and let's go. Anyway, so Brock Lesnar at 48 retired, but then he made us freak out because Brock Lesnar eventually signs a contract for a rematch. Without further ado, welcome to the tea drop, where the brew is strong and the takes are stronger. Now, let's rewind to WrestleMania and the apparent entrance. By the way, I was able to find a video that hopefully doesn't get copyrighted, but we will see. So WrestleMania, let me rewind this to the end of this. We'll catch the few last moments of WrestleMania. So WrestleMania ends, right? Oba wins clean. He wins clean for the match. Brock leaves his boots in the middle of the ring, right? Where is it? Right there. So Brock Lesnar takes off his boots, leaves it in the middle of the ring. You can see Paul Heyman shocked. He was shocked, right? No one knew what was going on. People were freaking out. But as soon as that happened, everyone was aware what was the intent. He was retiring. They hug, everyone applauds. You see Paul Heyman cry. I mean, give an Oscar for this, man, if this was all not intended and it was all part of a play. Look at this. Everyone was going crazy. The crowd, that's a lot of black tar. Anyway, so he leaves. No one hears from him. Paul Heyman says, put this man in the forever section of the WWE startup video reel every week that they do a show. And then throughout the week, eventually, Femi, for WWE's next move, Femi launches an Femi Open challenge. Basically, every week on Raw, any superstar can step up in front of him and face him and see what they got. Basically a way to show his power, even though he just had one of the biggest matches in his career in WrestleMania, going against one of the most unstoppable forces in the past 2 decades, yet they still thought storyline-wise was for him to do this open challenge. So week 1, after when this was set up 3 weeks ago, Otis answered the call. Oba destroys him. Week 2, he was waiting for a challenge. No one shows up. Adam Pearce comes out to the arena and says there is no open challenge because he literally destroyed. There's nobody answering. Not a single superstar in the locker room wanted to volunteer. The entire Raw roster collectively decided they would not be facing him. They'd rather not be on television than stand across the ring from this man. So what does Femi do? Well, he got pissed off, first of all. He goes to the back and drags one of the members of, or no, both members, not even one. He drags both members of Las Garza himself, carries both of them. They were the first people he saw when he stepped inside the backstage area. First 2 men he saw, first 2 men he grabbed. He takes them, brings them out of the locker room. He brings them to the ring and he destroys each one of them. So we get to week 3. This past week, what happens? Well, not much except the fact that Femi was getting ready for his entrance, right? He was coming down, he was getting ready for his challenge, and all of a sudden, a black figure comes from behind him. And I'm clipping this way the video so we don't get hit. This is the best way I can show you visually without just relying purely on images, so I apologize. But as you can see, you don't know who it is. It's some guy. Some guy came from behind him, right there. I mean, me pausing it, you can clearly see it's Brock Lesnar, but visually when this happened live, no one knew. Jay just saw someone coming from the back, and as soon as the lights come on, Who do you see? Of course, Brock Lesnar getting ready to drop an F5. Well, man did. He dropped an F5. He gets mad. He picks the Punk again. He picks Femi up again and does another F5. Like all of a sudden, the man before WrestleMania that couldn't step up against Femi all of a sudden can do not one, not two. He does a third F5. Well, I think Brock Lesnar thinks he needs one more. So what he does another F5 and then he laughs like typical Brock Lesnar fashion. So there you go. Brock Lesnar destroys Femi with 4 F5s like nothing. He came in, returned as a different man. Anyway, there you go. You got a little video from me. Then, of course, backstage, when this happened, Paul Heyman was smiling like he got a Christmas gift or something. But of course, Adam Pearce was pissed off and he demanded answers. He said, well, Brock Lesnar was retired. He was done. He would have never come back, so on and so forth. He tries to find him. He couldn't find him, but he eventually gets to his office and sees Mr. Heyman. Mr. Heyman was smiling because he loves when no one knows what happened. So what does Paul do? He hands Adam Pearce with a contract, basically saying Brock Lesnar already signed this, and it's basically a contract for a challenge against Femi at Clash in Italy on May 31st. 23 days after WrestleMania, after being placed on the alumni page, boots in the ring, Heyman's eulogy quotes that he did, whether it was through an interview or on Monday Night Raw, he comes back with a contract signed by Brock Lesnar. Now, before I get to my thoughts about this, I need you to sit with something because the entire conversation about this is built on assumptions when it came to Brock Lesnar, whether he was done or not. And there's a lot of receipts about that statement, whether he was retired or not. First one being is me. WrestleMania 42. I mean, I question whether he was retired or not because I originally thought, and I'll be honest, I thought he was going to do SummerSlam. But then he put his boots down. I guess not. But then anyway, when it comes to the Brock Lesnar retirement, he never retired. And what do I mean by that? WWE never confirmed he was retired. Heyman never confirmed he retired. Brock never even said himself he retired. So let me ask you something. Can you find somewhere? Because I couldn't. People, minus the new people online thinking he was retired like myself or any content creator, is there a reliable source that said he was retired? And the answer is no. There isn't one. Now, some outlets, news outlets covering WrestleMania 42, their headline used the word seemingly not retired, not confirmed, or seemingly, because they use seemingly because nobody said it factually. So what actually happened on April 20th? Paul Heyman did an interview. Mr. Heyman pretty much went to the interview and he said, why are you guys pushing this whole retirement thing? He just didn't want to answer. One day after WrestleMania, the man closest to Brock Lesnar publicly said that those exact words, that why people are pushing this retirement agenda. And what about the alumni page? What about the then, now, and forever graphics section? Well, that section with the then, now, and forever is an intro featuring legends, part-timers, people who haven't been on TV recently, and current stars too. It is not, I know when you put people in the forever or such, they are not considered retirement. And that's not part of a retirement registry. You're in forever, maybe you're a wrestler that will be forever remembered. In all honesty, you can take it as that. It's the same section that has featured part-timers who came back 6 months later as well. So putting them there realistically doesn't mean anything. The boots in the ring. Now, for most of us that watch wrestling even to older years, that's a symbol, a visual, an emotional moment, and nothing specific. It's just a symbol that we all know that usually wrestlers use to say, I'm retiring. I leave my boots in the ring. Thank you all, so on and so forth. A lot of people have done it. Triple H is another one that did it, I believe, WrestleMania 38. But when it comes to Brock Lesnar, shame on me for not remembering this. We all know Brock Lesnar to never follow the norm when it comes to professional wrestling standards. So why did we really expect him to follow it now? If anything, he probably saw it as a good, ha ha ha, trick ya guys kind of moment, you know? But Hey, now here's why the upcoming match between them matters. Obafemi is 27 years old. He's a two-time NXT champion, a North American champion, and he beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania clean. He built so much momentum that the entire Raw locker room chose not to be in television against him. They didn't want it to face him. It's a telltale of a powerful generational star that will forever be a scary person to go against in the years to come. It was similar fashion when Brock was young. He went against people in matches. Some people were afraid of facing him. It's a similar thing. They're playing the same cards, except they took a new twist. This strong future generational star has to face the tricks of an older generational star, that is Brock Lesnar. Now, here's the thing though. If nobody officially said Brock retired, then who actually got hurt by the return? Well, it's not the narrative. The narrative was never official. Obafemi got hurt because the audience had emotionally closed that chapter with Brock, and WWE let them believe that for 23 days and then pulled Brock back into Oba's story, which could be a hit or miss when it comes to people, because some people are happy he came back, some do not. No word or explanation yet of why he returned. We will probably find out in the weeks to come. They didn't use a narrative. When it came to his retirement, the narrative was never official. Oba will survive, but when it comes to this storyline, I find it weird that they did now that he's coming back and he might be, I don't know, continuing up to SummerSlam like most people think, or maybe he's going to continue if they pay him right. He'll continue all the way to WrestleMania 43 in Saudi Arabia and do one big final match as his sign-off. Maybe the package or the feud between him and Obafemi will continue to SummerSlam, and maybe what most people think will happen is he goes against Gunther at WrestleMania 43, or maybe not. Maybe SummerSlam is it, and he's only facing Obafemi. We will see. So anyway, when my take on this whole situation when it comes to Oba and Brock, WWE has a pattern. New face gets real traction, they slow it down with a legend, and go forward from that. They've had it in the past. Prime examples: Bobby Lashley wins the title, dominant, built, and then within months, he's servicing other people's stories. Drew McIntyre, WrestleMania 36, empty arena coronation, spends the next 2 years as a supporting cast. Crazy, right? And now Obafemi. It's amazing. But here's the business receipt I don't think many people are talking about, and it's probably the reason why they are pushing this continuing match. When it comes to that, they all know that Brock Lesnar brings a lot of traction. And when it comes to TKO, especially when they're dealing with Netflix and the ESPN deal, every eyeball matters. Every search engine on social media or YouTube or wherever, any spike is important. And Brock Lesnar, even as an alumni, if you want to call him that, is still one of the most talked about searches when it comes to WWE. So why would they leave that potential revenue if he can still go? Clash in Italy is one of the first big events in Italy. A PLE in Italy for WWE. They want to make sure they have a sold out show and they show positive numbers. So this is an extra thing. If you check, they have 3 powerful matches as part of the card so far. They have this match, they have Roman Reigns against Jacob Fatu, and then they have Gunther versus Cody Rhodes. That is 3 powerhouse matches. They are making sure that if you're going to Italy, you get your money's worth, or if you are in Italy and this is the first time you get to an event, hey, pay up. It's worth it. That's what they're saying. So, connect the dots. Nobody officially said Brock was retired though, which means WWE never closed the door. Heyman denied, and he played it pretty well after WrestleMania. They let the assumption build with absence of information. They made absentable information, and what did they let do? They let people go crazy thinking. So they cash on that assumption, and here we are. I don't think at this point, if this is how it ended up, I don't think this was a mistake. It was all part of the plan. They manufactured this maybe retirement situation that no one ever committed to. the people's emotion do the work. Let people react in social media, let people talk about it in social media, and so on and so forth. And then use Brock and Obi match continue. The emotion that brought it in WrestleMania, they're going to continue it. And the worst case isn't Oba potentially losing in Italy. The worst case is Oba winning. And they circle back to Brock for a rubber match at SummerSlam. Because at this point, this isn't Oba Femi's story. It's Brock's retirement tour and becomes a second chapter or something, scripted to end on TKO's terms and not Oba's, which is unfortunate. Like, if you look at the way Brock Lesnar retired WrestleMania, it looked very natural. It looked intended. It looked like a wrestler's retirement. Now it feels anything going forward, it feels like a TKO push, a squeeze of the profits, or so on and so forth. That's unfortunately what it's going to start feeling like, unless they make it feel more realistic. But we all know, or we have a feeling, when TKO is involved in storylines, and this feels like one of them. But again, this is purely my opinion, and some will agree, some will not. I let you guys decide, and you guys can feel free to discuss it. But the receipts are all there. No one talked about it, no one talked about it. No one confirmed his retirement. They just play tricks. But anyway, drop your thoughts in the comments. Does Oba Femi win in Italy and finally gets to write his own chapter going forward without Brock Lesnar involved? Or does this become Brock's retirement tour with Oba as the backdrop all the way to SummerSlam? And another question, because a few things can be true at the same time. If nobody ever said Brock retired, do you even have the right to be outraged because of the comeback? Let me know your thoughts in the video. If the T hit right, hit the like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.